the scene we are having right now. Hello, everybody. To anybody that is watching.
Do you have your audio?
Oh, whoops. Sorry, what? What did you say? Can you repeat?
I feel like there's a loop of audio coming through. I don't know if it's on your end. I guess it's on my end. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I had the Twitch tab open. And it's like, where's that extra voice coming?
That's good that you are super cautious about that because like it's a popular thing that is happening. Yeah, so we are a bit late today. 20 minutes late because of some technical difficulties we were having, but got everything figured out. We had to do some tests. I think that we can do a little reminding of what we are doing here actually, if somebody will actually join from this session or find this session somewhere, the recording of it anyways. So I think we can do like a small introduction again. Oh, I mean, we did it last week. We can do it for few more or something like that.
Yeah, so, at least just give a quick overview of what we did last week and where we're at, right. What's going on moving forward today.
Yeah, so just as a quick recap, we are preparing ourselves for AZ 204 certification, if I am correct. I think it should also say that in the title of the stream. I don't know if it does, but it should be something like this. So we are preparing for this exam in order to get certified. And what was the name of the certification? Do you remember?
I think it was a DevOps. Actually, I have it right here. I'll tell you.
Not DevOps, developer, I think, right?
Developing solutions for Microsoft Azure.
Is it the name of the certification? Really?
Well, that's the exam. The certification is. Hold on.
I was like, whoa.
Where's the link to the certification?
I think it was
Azure.
Azure Developer Associate.
Microsoft Certified Azure Developer Associate.
Yep. That seems right. Seems about right. Yeah, so we are preparing ourselves for that. This is our second session. Last one was last week. We are planning on to do this on a weekly basis. So if you just kind of found this recording or maybe you just joined us on the stream, feel free to join us next week or the next week after that. Like we are going to try to do it kind of regularly. What else? Last time we actually did this module. We learned a little bit about different solutions in Azure, like Azure Functions, web jobs, logic apps, and there was also Power Automate, if I'm correct, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
We kind of touched all four of them, but today I think we are going to narrow it a little bit more into one of them, into the Azure Functions. I already read the overview. Yeah, the idea for our sessions is that as we prepare for our exam, we are going to go through those learn paths and modules that we found on the certification side. Maybe it's good if I just bring it up for a second. So what if I type Microsoft certified? Oh, look at that. Had it in my URL. In my history. Yeah, so we are preparing for this certificate, and if you just scroll down a little bit on this page, you can see there are some specific learn paths or learning paths that Microsoft recommends for you to go through in order to prepare yourself for this certificate, right? So we just started from the top, and in this learn path we started with this module, and now we are going to go through the second one. Let me just check real quick.
Have you done a Azure function before, Mikołaj?
I mean, I know the theory, but to be totally honest with you, I think I have never had an opportunity to use it in practice, which is pretty shameful of me, I think. And I just love to actually get into it and see for myself how it works. I have seen that there are some exercises here. So I'm really looking
that was kind of
forward
what I
to
was getting at. I was wondering if this is going to be actually the first time that you've maybe created a function or even gone into do the first few steps of a function. So yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah, I
cool.
mean,
I haven't done a lot with them either. I'm not, as you know, I'm not a super strong developer, so I tend to work more in the codeless, the no code, like the logic apps and stuff like that is what I've been building a lot of things with lately. But I think it's going to be super helpful to learn more about
I think that our
doing
status
more.
I think that our status just emphasizes the fact that this stream is for everyone, and if you are new to this, just really don't worry. We are here to learn together, and just search or go through those topics.
Exactly. We're all beginners at something.
Yeah. So it is estimated for 36 minutes, but from our experience from the last one, I can already tell that we are going to probably take a little bit more time. We are doing it slowly but surely, and we are very thorough through those modules. Therefore, it takes much more time. And I think it's also the like the media that we use, like the medium. Like we do this via stream, so I think it's a bit longer to talk about it and just kind of have this conversation that we are having with Jason here. So yeah. What if we just dive into it, right? I think there's no further reason to wait. All right. So today, Azure Functions, it allow developers to host business logic that can be executed without managing or provisioning infrastructure. So it will be a bit about serverless, I believe. So as usual, we have some introduction here, right?
Giving us a little bit of a background, kind of setting the context and the stage.
I think we have again some scenarios. So last week we had this biking company, like rental biking university company or something like that. So today we are tangled into being hired in an escalator company. Okay.
I actually worked for, I shouldn't say worked for, but worked with an escalator company years ago. So this will be fun, yeah.
Hey, so you have like deeper understanding of this. So I really count on your
escalators and elevators, to be more specific.
I think I know the difference, right? One is the stairs, and second one is the well, elevator is the box that moves up and down. I don't know how to explain.
I wonder, is there a Polish word for escalator, or is that more?
I think we just say use escalator. To translate it precisely from Polish, it would be like moving stairs. So I think it's not a very precise word. Like we don't have a single word for that. We just say moving stairs.
Okay. But what is it for the escalator? What is moving stairs?
Oh, it's the escalator, right? It is.
No, I know, but how do you say moving stairs?
Oh, ruchome schody. You want to learn some Polish, I see.
Yeah. We'll have to write it down.
I think we said, I don't know if we said it on recording, that I should teach you some Polish.
Yeah, I should at least walk away with a new term after each of these or something.
Yeah, so this is the first word that you will know.
To associate this whole scenario with things from my past. So go on.
Okay, so we already know that you have some deeper understanding, so that's good. Okay, so we have this escalator company. It's actually good that you mentioned it, because I somehow unconsciously thought about elevator, not escalator. Which is a difference.
Maybe they do the same, but it sounds like it's just they've got IoT devices that are going to help monitor temperature, and then it looks like if we get past a certain threshold, then we're going to flip a data flag somewhere. So cool.
Okay. They also emphasize the fact that, well, you have to kind of integrate with different locations. It's written here, right? So that you have several locations, different escalator models. So we can kind of imagine that it's, again, probably going to be a struggle to kind of make it work with those different places and different styles of communicating. Hey, here it is, like including batch file uploads, scheduled database pulls, messages on queue. By the way, queue is such a funny word, right? Like, what happened here? It's like one letter followed by 4 silent letters, if you think about it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, did someone like slip his pen, or I don't know. It's like queue. Okay. Incoming data on an even hub. So, okay.
It's the most redundant word I can think of.
Yeah.
4 unnecessary characters.
Exactly, like what happened there. But like, I shouldn't maybe talk about it too much, because in Polish, like we have a lot of those. We have those special letters, so yeah, they also sound the same as different ones, but we just have those problems and complications when designing a service. Okay, so basically they say that instead of kind of investing your time, or maybe the time of your people, to solve it with your own infrastructure, so kind of place your own server, drag people to do that and kind of maintain it, you can use serverless computing, which is bolded here. So I think they wanted us to pay attention to this phrase, serverless computing. I'm pretty sure it will come later as well. Okay. Learning objectives. Decide if serverless computing is right for you, or sorry, for your business. Create an Azure function app in the Azure portal. This is probably the exercise bar. Execute a function using trigger, monitor and test your Azure function from the Azure portal. Okay.
Yeah. And I think, as we get into this next bullet point here, one of the main things that a lot of, we'll just say advocates of serverless or experts in serverless, one cautions they always say is don't just use serverless because it's the new cool thing, or you just want to learn it and put it into your production environment. Serverless solves certain problems, so it's always good to decide if this is the right approach for what you're trying to do early on in that process.
Mm-hmm. So maybe for the totally new folks that are going to watch this, I think we ought to explain what serverless compute is, and I think this section is kind of for that as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's even referred to as function as a service, right? Which is kind of I don't know, it's funny for me to see that because, well, you have those levels, like it's infrastructure as a service platform, then software, and then function is like even smaller.
Right. And function I think of as just like almost like a snippet of code from a larger code base. It's just it's going to do this one little thing, and that's it. It has an input and output and the processing, and it's only used when it's needed. And it's very simple. It's down to the function size, function byte size, and so function as a service, I think, to me does help me understand a little more in depth of what it is.
Okay, I also see that we have some link provided here, so let's see what this one is. I think this is like a link where you can get acquainted with this entire, I would say, methodology or idea behind serverless, right? Because it does not refer to a single service, right? Yeah.
So yeah, this looks to be just the overview page for just the topic of serverless in the Microsoft Azure site. But I'm sure it'll, for us, serverless means a lot of things. It's logic apps, it's the functions and all that kind of thing. So I'm guessing as you go through here, you'll get to the docs on specific things like functions, like what we'll be talking about today.
Probably if someone were to kind of go into this topic in a deeper detail, they can probably visit this link if they want to, I guess. But I guess that we are still going to cover this serverless in our Learn path, so let's not
and if you scroll down back on that page a little bit and you see under the compute section, this serverless, things for serverless Kubernetes. But if you go through the workflow diagram or workflow and integration, serverless just means a lot of things. And like we talked about last time, it doesn't mean there isn't a server. It's just that you're using less server. You're only using the processing when you need it, and therefore only paying for it when you need it. So we're talking about functions today. Last week we were talking about some other stuff, but the idea of serverless is sort of a larger category, and then there's other things within that we'll be talking about today. Azure Functions specifically.
That's right.
Which is taking your application down to the microservice level or down to the function level, and that's where we're going to be focusing today.
That's I think you kind of talked about what is in this section, like.
Yeah, hopefully I don't know if jumped the gun a little bit.
That's good. I actually prefer to speak about it rather than just read through, but I did just kind of in the background to see what's in here, and they are just saying that, well, it's they let you provide stuff without actually providing infrastructure. Like you get those functions that are, as you said, they are getting deployed, and then you don't pay for anything else. And this is in this section.
Yeah, no, but I mean, it's when you can do it this way, it starts to make sense that why would you just pay for a bunch of resources you never really using if you're thinking about like these big powerful servers. So that's why it's nice to avoid that. And then you can scale up and down, in and out, depending on what your needs are. And then on this part there about stateless logic, I think we talked about state and stateless last week a little bit. Did we talk about durable functions in that first module?
Yeah,
anyway, stateless,
that name did pop up, but I think we didn't discuss
stateless.
More.
It's just this idea that since we're creating these things when we need them, we're also deleting them, when we don't need them, which means that we're not maintaining state. So you can't go back and retrieve information, the same way that you used to. But it's a kind of a trade-off, like you're gonna lose this, but you gain this.
Yes, so kind of to encapsulate or maybe put everything into a nutshell, it's just an idea to minimize the time needed to actually set everything up and actually get the result that you want your function to do actually in a very, like in a much faster way, and also kind of do it as per request and not all the time.
Yeah, it's like renting a car for your code. Like you just go and pay for it when you need it. You use it, you put it back, you're done with it. Stop paying for it.
It looks like everything is going in the direction, right? Like cars, infrastructure, everything. Code.
It's code. Jeez. Code B&B.
Life as a service. Think about it. Jeez, it goes into the direction. Okay. But they also say that functions can be used in traditional compute environments.
Absolutely.
Which is basically like, it does not exclude the fact that if you want to have it on your personal virtual machine or on some maybe more durable solution, then you can definitely have it. Drawbacks of a serverless compute solution. So there are some. I like the fact that they actually talk about it and not just like, advertise it. Because there is this there is this trap possibility for people to, as you mentioned, think that it's just cool, something modern and new, and you just basically fall into that. And then as the first one they mentioned execution time. So yeah, I think that's what we talk. Like they are meant to actually be called and then be like deallocated, and not work forever or for a long time. For that you have VMs.
I don't see it just scamming through here, but also there's a little bit of a startup time too. So the cold start from a function that it's not in a state to run just yet and process your information or your code. Like it has to start up, right? Since we're creating from something. No. Now it's super fast.
It's still some latency, right?
But sometimes, depending on what you're trying to do, maybe it's not fast enough. So
autonomous cars should not work on functions.
Right. Yeah, there's lots of scenarios where they need if you need to make a call to a function and you're expecting milliseconds of a response time to get your K200, maybe that's not the right approach. If you need it back in. I'm pulling numbers out of thin air, but the point is, sometimes it's not fast enough.
Okay, yeah. So basically, use them if you want to have an opportunity to call it, but if you are doing it either frequently, or you are doing it for a long period of time, or you are doing it, or you need the answer or output really fast, then maybe you should rethink this idea. Right. Okay. So create a function app in the Azure portal. Okay. Oh, and there's actually like the first time we are going to use Sandbox.
Yeah.
So I actually came across Sandbox, of course, a few times when I was doing different modules. For people who do not know how this works, Microsoft actually gives you a possibility to test out those solutions on like this temporary subscription, so to speak. So if you have
free subscription.
Yeah. So if you have an account and you do not have any subscription, you can still activate the Sandbox and authenticate to your account, I believe, and then you can try it out in Portal for the purpose of learning, of course. What do they write here? Oh, look at this description.
Yeah, I will say, I've not run into any issues doing Sandbox things recently, but yeah, they are prioritizing just resources in general across Azure.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So
Microsoft Learn needs your permission. So I didn't give any permission yet. This is the first Sandbox we came across, so it is possible. Let's see. Of course I accept. Not a problem. Now, will it need my password or am I already logged in? Let's see. I think I'm okay.
I think mine still asks me to sign in, but that might be
oh, because you are doing it kind of simultaneously on your end, right?
I am. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I'm seeing the same thing you are.
44%. Okay, I will just scroll down now to see what awaits us. Okay, so we are ready to implement what is a function app.
Do we have music going on today? I forgot to ask.
I think we do. We should hear it. If not, then it's my mistake in OBS. I mean, it is quiet, kind of. It's supposed to play in the background. But
yeah, no, I just didn't ask.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I haven't tried. I can try.
Oh no, I think it's okay.
Okay. Okay, my sandbox is activated. I have a 4-hour limit, and I have one of 20 available that I could use in 24 hours, which is...
Oh, I also have
way
have
more
it activated. Did you say you have one out of how many?
20.
Why do you have 20 and I have 10? Where is the justice?
I think it's just because through work I get a little bit more.
Well,
because I
will do with 10. Okay, I'm okay.
I do these a lot. I'll never need 20. It's nice to know I've got
it's like, yeah.
Because, I could be doing tutorials or making videos.
Yeah, no, I think I'm okay with 10 per day as well. I'm just joking, kind of. It's fine with me. Okay. Okay,
so we're going to go with JavaScript, I'm guessing, right?
Oh, we can pick. Yeah, let's go with JavaScript, sure.
Okay.
I'm not a JavaScript guy, so it's kind of a new thing for me. I'm more kind of like a Python person, so to speak.
I'm not either. But I'm learning. I'm actually in the process of learning TypeScript, so this would be good.
Oh, yeah. So that's something good for you. For me as well. It's always good to kind of understand all of the languages just for a little bit at least. Okay, so here they speak about function app, which is like it's a bit of a shortcut, but it's like a resource group for function. Like it's logically grouping them and structuring the functions and compute resources in Azure. Okay.
Why does it say elevator now? I thought it was supposed to be escalator.
Oh, where does it say elevator? Where do you see it?
In the what is a function app?
No,
Next line down.
Here it's escalator.
No, the sentence before that.
Oh, it does. I see. Okay.
Earlier in the sentence, I guess.
In our elevator example, yeah. Ha! Mistake found. GitHub typo. No, just joking.
I could put in a pull request to fix that.
Yeah, exactly right. Fixing typos. I mean, okay. I didn't catch that, you see. Okay. There are a few decisions that need to be made to create the function app. Okay, so we have to choose a service plan. And from what I see here, we have two options. We have either consumption service plan or we have Azure App Service Plan. So consumption service plan provides automatic scaling, bills you when your functions are running. Okay. By default, it has a threshold of 5 minutes to run the function, and you can prolong it up to 10 minutes. Whereas in Azure App Service Plan, it allows you to avoid timeout periods by having function run continuously on a VM. Wow, that's interesting. Okay. Okay, so app service is when you kind of want it to be more robust, I guess, and you actually want to run it maybe on a server or something like that.
Yeah, I think, kind of going back to the rental car thing, like if you just only want to pay for it when you're using it, consumption service plan. Mm-hmm. But be mindful that now you have timeouts that you have to consider. Yeah. If you don't, if that doesn't work and or you don't necessarily have as strong of a concern on the cost, you would just go with the app service plan, which means you basically have a VM, a full VM to your disposal to do all these things continuously, not worry about the timeouts, but you have to maintain that, shut it down when you're not using it, or at least set up the configuration so it shuts down when you're not using it. So it's kind of that first fork in our decision tree of is it okay for us to just run it only when we need it? Because if so, consumption service plan.
I guess in our example, it will most likely be that one, right?
We'll That's kind of way I'm thinking, yeah, but...
Hey, and even though it's mostly stateless and serverless, we still have a storage account requirements. It writes here that it's mostly for logging purposes, but I think also in the durable functions that we have mentioned, it requires storage to actually keep this state somewhere, right? Okay. Create a function app, so we get to the meat now. Sign into Azure portal, so I will open the link here and see if I'm already logged in. And I think I am. Let me see if I'm logged into the correct account, though. Yep, it's okay. I think it's okay. Student ambassadors account. Okay. Yeah, it's fine. And it also says like Microsoft Learn Sandbox. So I think it opened the like separate directory for this.
Yeah, that's how it works for me too. I've got my work login, but it shows me that I'm just in a Learn Sandbox. So that way it's not mistakenly going to my resources where I have to go deal with it later.
I don't know if it changed or maybe I didn't just come across such sandbox type, but for me it was previously like I was doing some maybe code and stuff like that, and those sandbox were always kind of in place. It didn't let me go into so much detail on my account before, but maybe I just didn't like have it or see it previously. Okay, so let's go to Azure portal and let's create a resource. So for people who have never seen Azure portal, it's pretty straightforward. Of course, it's the place where you can actually play with all the services. You have a lot of them, like a lot of them. For example, this entire session is just to cover one of them, which is function app. As you can see here, probably we will go with that one. But yeah, you can definitely find some tours or some descriptions of Azure portal online if you want to. The most important thing is this search bar. Where you can actually find it here anyway. But yeah, they asked us precisely to do what? To click on this plus, so to create a resource. So we are going to just do that, just to follow the steps. We probably could have clicked the Azure function, but and they want us to go to compute section. So let's do that and function up. Okay. Oh, oops, did I click too fast? Oh. Okay, so we have separate subscription for our sandbox, because this is not my subscription. From what I see, it's like this.
Yeah, you'll see. Yeah, exactly there at the top in the subscriptions. Also, concierge. I'm guessing. Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. So they also kind of automatically created the resource group, which is pretty handy. We don't have to create it ourselves. Function app name. It has to be globally unique. So probably this name should be taken. I mean, they want us to replace the axis with something else. I wonder if it's taken. It is taken. Somebody took it. Okay, so let's probably AZ204 is taken as well, huh? Ah, look, somebody else was preparing. So let's say J Miko. By the way, do people call you J like as a shortcut for Jason? They do, right? It's also a name of a bird, right? In English, there's a bird.
A bird, yeah.
Yeah.
Or the blue jay.
Yeah, blue jay. Okay, I would so go J Miko AZ204. I don't know. I have no idea. It's the hardest part always. So we want to publish as code runtime stack. We want to go with Node.js. Okay. And version we probably leave as default. And the region. Since I'm streaming from Poland, probably you would pick something like Central US. I'm picking West Europe because it's the closest to me.
Yep.
And I think they just
Well, I was just saying, there's other options we could go through within hosting, monitoring, tags, but it looks like we can skip to review and create.
We can skip them. Let's just see what it is here. So it asks us for a storage account. They will create new for us. Operating system. Oh, it's funny that you actually get to pick operating system. I didn't know that. You actually pick one. which just dictates how your app. Okay, so here's this plan that we can choose, right? So we want the consumption one. So it's the default.
Yeah, the default I think is how it's gonna be. But yeah, that's the one we're going with.
Oh, application insights. I want that. Gosh darn it. Okay, let's just.
It may not let you since it's in
Yeah.
the sandbox. Yeah, I think you might have to stick with the defaults.
Okay, let's go with that.
But that was good to go in there and look at it though, because
Yeah.
you saw where you would make that choice if you're running under your own subscription. If you want to do an app service plan instead.
I already clicked create because it's probably going to deploy for us for a while. I'm just going to click on this deploy to see how it goes. Okay, so it's in progress. So while it's in progress, we can actually go further, or when deployment completes, select go to resource.
I think we'll have to wait for it to.
Yeah, probably. What if I click check work? Oh no. Yeah, I think we have to wait. Wow, it's so.
Yeah, because
It's my
I'm
first
guessing.
experience
Yeah, so
with
mine
this
just
stuff.
finished, and I'm gonna go ahead and go to the resource.
Man,
and
you are
then-
spoiling. You are going too fast. Just wait. Wait, my deployment is still in progress. Oh no.
I'm just being the beta tester. Make sure we're not running into any problems.
Okay. If you narrate it that way, that's okay. Essential. In the essentials section, select the URL link to open it in the browser. Okay, so we are waiting. So when we are waiting, do you have any funny story to tell? Any jokes?
I don't know. I definitely don't have any jokes. I'm terrible at remembering any jokes. Well, I would say, like as far as how much
Hey,
time we got
time's
left. Oh, is it already done? Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but sorry, what did you want to say? Like,
I was mostly just thinking we could take a look real quickly back at the just the module and like move on to the next one and see what we're kind of previewing ahead while we're waiting. But that didn't take any time.
Oh, I can actually do that. Well, I thought that I don't have like this checkbox or an
No, but I
arrow.
think if you
Yeah.
do the check your work, it'll just take you to the next one now.
Yeah, now it does. I mean, previously it didn't when it was still deploying. I probably
Right.
could have done it through this menu up here, like this drop down.
Yeah,
menu,
that's what I was
right?
thinking.
Oh yeah,
Exactly.
okay, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah,
Then you
but
are
now you
correct.
don't need to.
So we are good to go further. Run your code on demand with Azure Functions. Now that we have a function upgrade, let's look at how to build, configure, and execute a function. Okay, so triggers. Of course, functions are event driven. So you want something to actually execute it, or like not execute it, but evoke. Is this the right word? Evoke the function?
Invoke's good. Well, execute
Sorry,
I
I'm
don't
not-
think is
yeah.
incorrect.
Yeah, execute is definitely incorrect. I'm not native. I mean like cause the function to run. Actually, yeah, that was too loud.
I'm sure there's lots of words that we could use, but yeah, it's basically trigger. Trigger the function to run the code, run the logic.
Sorry, I forgot. It's so self-explanatory in English. That's why I kind of have this tendency wherever I see trigger, which is kind of usable in Polish, I tend to kind of explain it if somebody doesn't know it or didn't come across in Polish for this word,
Okay.
because there might be some people. Yeah, but since it's English word, it's probably kind of self-explanatory. You are right. So we have different triggers. We have blob storage, CosmoDB. We can trigger from grid, HTTP, even timer, which is nice. Now we have bindings. Bindings are a declarative way to connect data and services to your function. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily have to mean that binding is a trigger. So there are different types of bindings. Oh, we can click and browse through them real quick. Supported bindings. Wow, there are a lot of them. So here are our triggers, which, as we can see, is probably one of the subcategories of those bindings. I don't know what binding 1x and 2x means.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that means either. Oh, it's down. Go scroll down. There you go.
Oh. custom bindings. Yeah, but what does it mean? Like,
I'm not sure.
yeah, I mean, we are going to stick to trigger anyway, right? So we are kind of interested in this category. Interesting. Okay, define a sample binding. Okay, so let's see how we can configure one. Okay, so we have kind of two bindings here. This is an array of bindings. We have input and we have output. Okay, so the input is in form of a queue trigger. Again, beautiful word, queue. And the output is kind of into some table. That's all we have to know for now, I believe. Our JSON configuration specifies that our function will be triggered when a message is added to a queue.
Yeah, and I guess we also just can maybe say on a binding, it's really just, it's kind of the, like you can see here, it's just JSON, but it's the configuration file for how to talk, how the services will talk to each other.
Okay.
And there's a lot of other things that happen behind the scenes that's, you know, much more complex, but this is how we at least say this thing's going to talk to this thing to do a thing.
Like maybe even on a higher abstract level, it's kind of like this will just put some data into our function, and there might be a lot of inputs, I believe. I don't know, but I would guess. And this is what is going to take some data out of our function as a return. Like as a solution.
Yeah, and I would just think of it as like like the term, again, this might be when we're talking about terms, sometimes I say binding, and to me I even picture in my head like taking two things and binding them together, wrapping a piece of string around them, like saying these two things go together, they're now bound to each other.
Yeah, but it doesn't necessarily have to be two things here, right?
Yeah,
no, just clarifying this. Yeah.
It's just a way of binding things, like saying, okay, it's the two things that are now going to be detached and talking to each other.
Okay, so I think that it's a good time to actually dive into the portal. They want us to create a function in Azure Portal and provides several pre-made function templates for common scenarios. It's quick start and custom functions. I wonder where we can find it actually, those quick start, and if I go here maybe. Let's see. Nope. I think I've seen it, like, what if I just go on the main page and like it was, I think it flashed like quick starts here, right? Quick start and tutorial, but it's not this one, it's just docs reference probably. Yeah. Or we can go through this quick start. I think I'm just kind of drifting away from the solution. Yeah, definitely. Because I don't know where we can find those quick starts.
So
they want us to create a function.
Go back to your overview. Okay,
to the
and
overview.
Then down in the middle section where you see, no, stay on the overview page.
There is. All right, I missed that.
Right there. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so what did they say about it? Oops, not that page. It's this one.
There's two different types, so we can either do it right in the portal, or we could use Visual Studio Code. I say we do it in the portal.
It's probably more the basic way to do it.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I clicked it, or did I not? Oh, it just took me here. Okay. Okay, so it takes us to the functions then.
Yeah, and then we'll add.
All right, let's do that. Boom. So as it loads, I will just check what they want us to do. They want us to use a webhook API using JavaScript. And from what I see on this image, they used the HTTP trigger, right? So here we have different templates. And here are some descriptions of them. So I believe we should go with the first one because it's the HTTP trigger one. It looks like it is.
That's what I'm thinking.
There are some template details. New function authorization level. I will just leave it as it is, maybe. I will leave it as default. I don't think we have to change anything.
Yeah, I think things probably are set as default.
Navigate to your function and files. When you create a function from a template, several files are created. Sorry. For example, if you opted to use webhook, would be a configuration file, function JSON, and a source code file. Let's see. What do we have here? We have overview, which is basically some essentials about this function. We have code plus test, which is probably going to be the most important. Let's wait for that to load. Boom, we have some scary code here. And here are those files I think that they were referring to. We only have 2. Didn't they mean they were 3 of them? Generated would be... Oh no, they also have 2. Like they have function.
I thought they just said several files were created.
Yeah. I will use my super zoom option because I didn't use it today and I didn't do any drawings.
There you
go. Yeah, so we have those files. Okay, there is some test and run, upload, get function URL. This will probably be handy. Then we have some integration. I don't know if we are not spoiling anything, but hey, let's see what's up here. Whoa. Nice. So it's kind of like a workflow again. I like the fact that it's kind of doing it for you.
Yeah, it definitely is nice showing you visually what's taking place, I think.
I wonder if you can somehow like export it other way than the snipping tool. I don't see this option, but it would be nice probably to use kind of like if you are building some function for professional purposes and you kind of need to make a presentation. I think it's kind of good to just maybe cut this part out and involve into your presentation or something.
Totally.
Now we have a
monitor.
screenshot of it. Yeah. Oh,
here we have cool.
Again.
Well, so yeah, I think our next section is we go into code and test.
Okay.
If I'm understanding this right. And we can manually execute our...
Sorry, so test your Azure function manual execution. Okay. Manual execution. You can start a function manually by triggering the configure trigger. For instance, if you are using an HTTP trigger, which is our case, you can use a tool such as Postman. I actually have Postman. I know that might be new for some people, but we can quickly open it.
I think, yeah, that'd be great because I think Postman, there's lots of tools out there that are similar to Postman, but it's a well-known one, pretty easy, straightforward one to use. Definitely helpful if you're going to be doing any kind of function, just, you know, even experimentation. You're going to need something like this. So
yeah,
good exposure.
For people, like to people for who it might be new, whenever you are doing you are visiting any websites in a browser, you are actually doing HTTP requests, but you can only do the GET request, and which is only one type of request, so to speak. And Postman is actually this tool to kind of enable you to do other types of requests rather than just GET. So you don't only want to maybe to get the page or something. You also want to make different requests. Let me just see if I have my Postman good to go. Give me a sec. Boom, boom, boom. So Postman actually lets you also do different types of requests. Okay, so here it is. So this is how the tool kind of looks like. I think that if I do it full size, you kind of can't see everything, so I will just minimize it a bit because this button send here is obviously kind of important. So what we will do is, in order to test our function, is just enter the URL, and actually we can perform GET request, but as you can see from what I've said, you not only can do the GET request, but you can do like entire range of them. But mostly, well, in practice, I think you do either GET or post.
Yeah, I think I said last week post and GET are literally the only two I've ever used.
Definitely. Okay, so let's actually do it with Postman. So we will need our URL, which is available from the HTTP trigger definition, get function URL. Oh, so this is this button, which we already talked about. So let's copy that and let's paste it to our postman. Boom. Okay. We are probably revealing some some tokens here, but I'm not too worried about it. First of all, it's learn subscription, so hey, you can.
It'll go away.
Yeah, it will go away. You can just use the test subscription, and it looks like it works, right? This HTTP trigger function executed successfully. Pass a name in the query string or in the request body. So we can pass a name here in a query string. Okay. So this one I think I know from experience how to pass additional arguments. So let's try and do that. So let's add another argument. What do we want to do? Super duper name. I don't know, man. I'm not a creative person. And it works. Hello, super duper name. Yeah, so you can kind of inject this argument to a URL, kind of as you usually do with other arguments. So just followed by the asterisk, which informs you that this is another argument in this URL. You paste the property that they wanted to, which was name, and then the value. So yeah, you can see that it works. I think it's also visible in this body. I kind of had a peek on that. Because we can see that I think this line represents what they wrote, that you can either do it through the body, which probably is this one or something like request body, or you can do it from the URL property called name, right? I would guess, but I'm not a JavaScript expert. There's a lot of stuff I actually don't understand here, but this is my guess. Like, this is what is happening here.
Let's go back over to the back into the learn module.
Yeah,
because we were looking at the manual execution.
Yeah.
So, and then, but I feel like the get function URL, you did that kind of quick, as far as. So maybe just go through that again for anybody who kind of, because I wouldn't say we skipped anything, but we did a little fast, like pulling up Postman and hitting the URL.
Yeah, that's probably good.
Show us where you grabbed that URL from.
Okay.
That you used in Postman.
So as they wrote here, I believe, they even bolded it out. The URL is available from the HTTP trigger definition. So I guess this is the definition of our HTTP trigger code, and here is this button get function URL, which I believe is what they are referring to. So I got it copied from here. There are some different keys, but I actually didn't look into it, so let's maybe not click that. So I copied here, right? So there's this button, copy to clipboard. URL. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
There's other ways you can get to it also, but I wanted to make sure at least somebody that's following along knows where to copy that from.
Okay. Yeah. That's good. Good that you pointed out.
Yeah, because unfortunately, I think in the learn module, like just a little picture of where to find that get function URL would be helpful. But anyway, so that's all I wanted to.
We were lucky enough to actually, because we were lucky enough that when I just like read this get function URL, I remember we talked about, like, I mentioned it, like, oh, there's a get function URL button. That's why I remember that. Like, there is one. Yeah.
Yep.
And you also mentioned that there are different ways, right?
Yeah. So that's testing it through Postman. Let's do a test through the portal.
On the right side of the code window, there is a tabbed flyout menu. Tabbed flyout menu. What does it mean? Like, how do I get there? Is it somewhere like...
So, up by the get function URL.
Yeah?
Yeah. Do you see the test run?
Oh, this one. Boom. Okay, this is the tab. Okay, wow. They also didn't mention how to open it, actually, right?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too. Is like, I don't know, just a screenshot of those menu options I think would go along. But we're not here to judge.
My guess is that maybe, since I think the portal is evolving really often, it might be kind of outdated or something, right?
I feel like I've definitely been through this module before, and it's not exactly the same already. I don't feel like so. Yeah. But yeah, it's constantly evolving and improving. But as you can see, we've got kind of our own little mini Postman here within the browser.
Is it visible on the screen? Yeah, it is, I think. Okay. All right, so yeah, so again, we can do only those 2 requests, which is totally enough for us. We can pick different keys, which I'm not going to play with just yet. We can add some parameters to the query. So what can I add again? The property like that, name, super duper name, boom. Oh, it's also in the body. So if I do post request, it's probably okay. So you probably should explain a little bit the fact that maybe I would just mention it, that get request is characteristic because like you actually do not send anything with a body. If you see in Postman, for example, if I have a get request, I cannot type anything here if I would like to, because get request is not actually meant to bring anything with it other than headers, so like the metadata. Whereas post is actually when you want to post something, then you can actually send something because you are the one who is posting it, right? It's like, think about posting a package. When you want to get the package, you cannot actually, in the process of getting it, actually send something there. It's when you want to actually post something, you actually are sending something. So if I think that if I use post, I should be able to oh, I was clicking the wrong thing. Here is the body. Sorry, I will just show it again. So here is the body, and you can actually write something in the body when you are in post, but when you are in get, it's grayed out. Sorry, I was trying to write something in this body because it's the same button, but you get the point. It's the same. It's the fact that you cannot actually access it. And I think this is kind of maybe not visible here, but it has to work the same way. We can actually even test it out probably. If I do get request, probably this body is not taking under account because, well, get is not using body, it's using headers, but it's not using body. So let's delete this query parameter and let's try to do a get request with actually name provided there. But I'm pretty sure if we hit run, it will output us, or maybe I'm just making mistake, but I think it should output us like, yeah, it actually didn't catch the name right in the output. Whereas probably if we are going to change to a post request, my guess is that the body is actually going to get provided to the request. Fingers crossed, right?
Yeah, you'll definitely get a different result when you hit run.
Hey, yeah, right.
Should come back in the output. Yeah, there you go.
It is.
Hello,
it
Azure.
is, yeah.
And if you change that text to Mikołaj, it would say your name.
Miko. I wonder how it handles Polish letters. Now that's the real test, huh?
Oh, don't crash Azure. Be careful.
And now the West Europe goes down, like those lights are shutting down. Hey, it handled it well. Wow, good job. Okay. So they actually thought about it. Okay, that's good. So that works.
What's next?
Probably if we were to add it in get request, we would have to add this query parameter as we did with URL, kind of. But yeah, let's get back to the module. Monitoring dashboard. Oh, you can see, I think they have different outlook of this window, because if I look on our panes, we don't see the same overview of those, like escalator functions, HTTP trigger.
Yeah, I think this is a perfect example of there's been changes to the interface within Azure Functions since this Learn module has been created.
Kind of gets outdated. So probably, I wonder, but in some time this recording is also going to get outdated. So use it when it is.
Probably.
Yeah.
But I think the next part it's showing is monitoring, and back in the Learn module anyway. The main point is that every time something executes or there's a trigger, there's going to be a log entry for that. Serialized.
I think we even visited this monitor tab, but it actually didn't show anything. Question mark? Yes. Configure application insights to capture invocation logs. Well, there is not much we can do other than try to click it. Maybe it will work.
Yeah, I think it's gonna make us
let's see,
choose.
I'm again going to go just with West Europe. Let's just click. There is not much we can do rather than just click create.
The defaults are what they want you to do, other than maybe the location.
Let's see.
But yeah, so application insights. I'm guessing maybe this is just a little more explicitly saying, now application insights is your place that you'll see these monitoring events based on, rather than it feeling external to application events, like it's part of it now.
I wonder. Oh yeah, it looks like it works. Why they actually have it explicitly a separate thing? Like you have to tell it that you actually want to have application insight. I think it might incur some costs. It's my guess why they do that.
Well, there'd be some storage with application insights.
Okay, right. Yeah.
Stored now.
Right. Yeah, makes total sense. Your app is offline, or the application insights SDK needs updating. What if I use magic trick to refresh it? Boom.
Yeah. And also I think, exactly. And it still may not show a bunch of stuff because we haven't run it since we set up logging, so.
Let's do that. Let's actually do it without any name. Let's not play with it. Let's just send a GET request without any additional properties. And let's see if it... Okay, so it's run successfully. It just didn't have any name. Can I somehow refresh it? Yep. There is refresh button. Results may be delayed for up to 5 minutes. Oh my goodness. Okay, I guess we will get back to this then. Maybe when it will show up.
This highlights like really the next part of the module is 5 minutes. Like that's kind of a long time.
Yeah. Wow.
For monitoring, things change so fast. So that takes us into streaming log access.
Okay, so you can actually evoke methods which are logging stuff on the screen, probably differentiating. Is that the word?
Differentiate?
Like on the type of the language that you use. We use JavaScript, so hey, we just copy that.
Yeah.
Job done. Any luck with refresh? Nope, not yet. So let's go to code and test. And let's actually inject it somewhere, I guess. Is there any specific place they tell us where we should inject it? You are the TypeScript expert. Do you know where we should inject it?
No.
Let's see, what if I do? Probably not here, but yeah, it's red. Red means bad.
Yeah.
Hey, this doesn't highlight, so maybe this one. Or is it?
That would be my guess, yeah.
I mean, let's shoot. That's like intuitive.
No errors. Yeah, so let's try.
Probably let's save it, or do you? Yeah, let's save it.
Definitely save it. Well.
Oh, we can enter a like logging statement here. Boom. Oh, whoops. Let's change it. Or actually, maybe it was a trap, but okay. Now we have to think of something. Let's go with bada bim, bada boom. Exclamation mark. Save. And we probably want to test and run. Again, we can probably do it both ways. Let's do it here now. Or we can go with post. Let's change name to JSON in order to not be so selfish. And let's click run, question mark. I guess it should show here, right? Ooh, is it visible? I think it is. We have bada bim, bada boom. I can even zoom.
Bada boom.
Yeah, works fine. Nice.
There we go. So yeah, that's a way for you to.
And also we got this response. Nice. Like we have this hello JSON. So there's bada bim, bada boom. I will highlight everything that is important. I love this function. Okay.
Yeah, it is nice. Yeah. So excellent. So now that's a way to stream in some logs of anytime something happens. And we can go monitor those.
Errors and warning window. You can locate the errors and warning window tab in the same flyout menu as the log window. Okay. Log level. Okay. So we can filter them, I suppose. Do we have any errors? Our error is connected. No, I mean there are no errors probably. No warnings. So we are just in the verbose mode, which is probably spitting out the most information, which is fine for us. Okay. Next unit exercise, add logic to the function app. Man, we are storming through today. But this one was supposed to be a bit shorter, so I think we are okay. We have to make it in 3 hours and 20 minutes until our sandbox gets deactivated.
I think we're good. There's a lot on this one, so yeah, we should.
I guess we are back to the square one with the scenario about those escalators/elevators.
So yeah, now we're gonna talk about the logic. We got the function working, but it's just a basic function. Doesn't do anything with.
Yeah, it just prints out bada bing bada boom.
Yeah. So.
Okay, add a function to our function app. What, we already did that. Or do they want us to add another one? Maybe we can do it in the same one, right?
I would think we could do it in the same one, but we could also just do another one. It's not that big. Okay, we don't have a second function.
Sure, let's add. We will
just
have
call
two
HTTP, then. Give it a different name.
Probably a good idea, yeah. So you want to develop in Portal. Actually, will it catch? Oh yeah, look, it does it automate. Wow, it's automatic. It invents names for us. It's the best feature ever.
Sweet. I love things that are smarter than me.
Right.
Did it do durable function for you? Oh no, I clicked on the wrong thing.
I think no.
Yeah, that was my fault.
Rookie mistake, rookie mistake. Okay, so we got.
You gotta learn how to use the mouse properly.
We added function blah blah blah. Okay, where are we? In the left nav. Okay, code and test. They want us to navigate to the meet because we are probably going to write something here or change something here because we actually want to do it. I think I just maybe scrolled through it too fast. I read it and not commented. We are going to probably make this logic that we want to catch some temperatures and map them on some warnings or information or statuses, which is like if your gears are from 0 to 25, it's okay. I guess 0 is pretty cold, but hey, it's okay. We are only looking for overheating. 26 to 50 is caution, 50 degrees is danger. Or above actually, right? 50 degrees. Okay. From the source dropdown, select index.js. The default code that the template generated for us appears in the following snippet. Yeah, that's correct. This is what we basically have, more or less. Question mark. We actually, we don't have this else statement, but I think it's okay. It's just the fact that this kind of changes. HTTP request query string. Okay. I think they just explained what we kind of talked through, which is that.
Yeah, we're just taking new code. I think, aren't we? Like going to copy that block of text there, that JavaScript, and put it into our function.
Yeah. So basically, let's just comment what's here. So there's the array of bindings that we mentioned that are appearing here, and we have a binding which is a function HTTP trigger, which will give something into this function, and also HTTP, which will get out. So basically it's a request response kind of type, I would say, or kind of understand it in that way. Okay, so where do we copy it?
So I just copied the entire block, the whole JavaScript, and put that in, replaced everything that was by default in the index.js file.
Oops.
And then do the exact same thing with the bindings.
Wait, was it the same for me, or why was it the same for me? I already had it here.
I don't think it's the same. If you go back to the module and copy the bindings, I think they're slightly different, aren't they?
I mean, slightly. There's this disabled false only, I think, for me.
Oh, okay.
Or was it? I think it was.
I just did it.
Better safe than sorry, right?
Right.
Okay, so the output binding.
It's a comma somewhere. That's what I always do.
Oh, maybe. Test the function. Do we already test it? Oh no, but I think you are. Are we in the same place? Because right now we are testing the function, right? I thought we would implement the temperature, but maybe it's a bit below. It's a bit lower. Okay, let's just stick to the plan.
Well,
okay.
first I think first we're setting up
basic
function.
HTTP. Did you copy this index.js as well?
I did.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well,
I copied that whole thing and replaced what was in the index.js.
That's good that I asked because I didn't do that here because I thought it's kind of
in the functions. Yeah.
So let's switch that one. Okay. Yeah, I kind of thought that is maybe doing the same thing, but yeah, probably.
Yeah, there's slight differences.
Send or receive files. Okay. Test. Blah blah blah. So they're introducing us to curl command, which is pretty popular one, of course, when you are working with Linux. Why are they inviting? I mean, not inviting, but introducing us to it. For the test purposes. Okay. The command line. Okay. Find the endpoint URL of the function, expand the log frame at the bottom.
Yeah, we just gotta, I think, copy the function URL like we did previously.
Yeah, I don't know why they say that we need to explain the log frame, but I think it's again some mistake on their side. Like they say to expand the log frame at the bottom of the trigger function at the top menu. Oh, maybe it's separate things. Okay, never mind. Yeah, we are definitely copying this one. By the way, what if I open sticky notes, because we are probably going to use stuff like this. Okay, so let's place it somewhere like here maybe. So I will paste this copied URL. It will probably come in handy. Okay. So we have that.
I would say.
One frame at the bottom, copy to clipboard. Okay, secure HTTP trigger. Oh, should we test it out here now? Oh, there is.
No, I don't think we need to test anything just yet.
Yeah, I kind of scroll down to see if we are using this curl command, but we are below. So, securing HTTP triggers. We probably don't want everybody to access it, so we probably want to secure it somehow. Of course, showing it on stream is not the safest way to do it, but again, we are just doing it for the learning purposes. And just a test subscription, so anyway, I will probably share some keys here. API to block unknown callers. There is this authorization level that we have seen. By default, it's set to function. This is what we also should have chosen. It requires function-specific API key, but it can be also set to admin for master key or anonymous to require no key at all. You can send it as a query string parameter named code. So there are two ways to actually provide this key, and one way we can see in this URL right here, right? So this is the second parameter that was actually provided by default. So with the name, what we have done, we actually added another argument, but there was already one here, which is this argument. So this is code equals, and this is our key in plain text, I believe. So yeah, this is maybe not the preferred way, because you probably can sniff it somehow and stuff like that. There are, I don't know, tools like Wireshark, and I don't know how it would respond to that, but there is another option to actually send it as a header, which is in brackets preferred. So I guess it's always better to send it as a header rather than the HTTP property or the URL property or something. Okay, sorry I was talking too much. You went silent, Jason. Did you finish already or something?
No, this is great. This is definitely, it's not stuff in the module, so this is extra good context on, we're using sandbox accounts, which means all this is temporary. It's going to go away. If we were doing this for real under your own subscription, we would not want to be sharing any of these keys or any of these endpoints or any of that stuff, because that's handing over access to what you're building. So. Yeah. We don't want to encourage that. So I think it's good for you to, stop and say what you're doing there. But yeah. And it looks like we're just going to do another test.
Run
Run from within the browser here.
At the bottom of the screen, scroll to the left of your screen, the top essential section. Copy the URL by selecting copy to clipboard icon. Okay, was it in the overview here? Get function URL, is it that one? Is it not the same as the one that I have just copied? Are those different?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah,
yeah, it is. So
yeah, it's the same one at least.
Yeah, it's different way to access the same thing. So
exactly. Yeah, earlier I was telling you there's other ways you can get to that, and I think it is it's good practice. I keep Notepad open on my computer just to keep things that I need to get back and forth to.
Oh, store this key to Notepad or a similar app for later use. Look, I missed it. Okay, so actually let's get back to function keys. And let's copy this.
So now, now you got to go grab your key, your function key.
Hidden value. Click show to view. Boom. Copy. And we are going.
The fact that it's hidden is, kind of important because this is one of the things that you really don't want to share too much. It's fine since we're on just a temporary thing. It's gonna disappear here shortly.
What also kind of already is visible is the fact that this key that we just copied is already in the URL. But I believe we are going to find a way to actually probably delete it from here and pass it as a header. That's what we are doing.
And imagine eventually, yeah.
Okay, so we want to go to the test pane. So let's open code plus test. Since we have our URL and we have our key, let's try to actually test it with a curl command instead of Postman or the previous one that we have done.
Right.
And what do they want us to do?
We gotta add some headers information though, right?
Oh, here, right? A test pane appears under the input pane in the body text box. Overwrite the embedded code by pasting the following URL command. So let's copy this. Curl command. Copy this, and they want to paste it in the body. Okay. Do they specify which? It has to be post since we are doing stuff in body, right? So yeah. We have content type application header. We have some headers here. Is it visible on the stream? It is. Okay, so we have function key, and we have to put our function key here actually instead of the URL. So let's just do that. Copy, and whoa, it just flies around. Can I do it like that? Boom. Yeah, that's much better. Oops, sorry. Boom, Control V, and I did not have it copied. Why not? What happened? Control C. Clicked it though. Okay, second try. Boom. Okay, that looks more like it. What's next? Request is post. Yeah. So we even specify it here. Okay. There is some data and there is some URL to be pasted, which is in HTTPS as well, which is nice. And we have to paste the URL here. So I believe we pasted without the code property. So as you can see, I also kind of omitted this question mark at the end of this URL. This is because in URL encoding, so in the way you actually pass arguments in URL, this question mark is usually just to emphasize the fact that you are going to pass arguments. So since we are avoiding to pass the only argument that we have in our URL, which is the code which contains the key, we are also omitting probably this question mark. Since we will not need it to tell this URL that we are actually passing any arguments, because we are not, I guess. So let's just copy that. That's my idea of how it should be done. Let's see if it works. And should I just click run? Replace the placeholder, post, okay, pass the function key. That's all we have done. Select run. Boom. Fingers crossed again. Now we're just praying. Oh, by the way, we didn't say, oh no, we didn't we didn't pass a name. I saw like 400 bad requests and I thought, whoa, something went bad. But I think it's because we caught the else command because we didn't pass any name in the query string. So I guess what we could do is actually use this question mark and pass some name. So I just take back what I said. We are going to use that question mark because we are going to provide different argument, which is the name, because we don't want to give code because it's our password. So let's give a name, super duper name as always, and let's try again. I think I wanted to say something, but I forgot what I wanted to say. Well, never mind. Please pass a name query. What's wrong with it? Why doesn't it want to work? Didn't I pass the name? Trigger.
I was kind of looking at something else, but do you...
Let's see. Let's see what I have done bad. It's a post. Do we have the parameter? We do. Should I check a different key? Because I think we just embed everything here, right? Let me see. Let me see again. Copy to clipboard icon. Store this link to...
Got my function key.
Should we provide everything in the URL? No. Do I have a different... Does it work for you, for example?
I'm not quite there because I forgot to include my function key in the curl command, so I'm adding that back in now.
Let me see if we got anything. What if I would just paste? I know that's not what we are supposed to do, but I wonder what would happen if we were just to paste the URL with the actual code string or something.
If you look at the original, if you scroll back up to the curl command.
Yeah, I will do that in a sec. Sorry. Yeah. Ampersand. Oh, that's actually, I'm glad that it didn't work because I was trying something that shouldn't work, which I don't want to work. I mean, because we don't want to pass the code. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's what I would say. If go back to the learn module and if you look, I just want to look at the actual curl command that's coming across and highlight something. So see right there at the end. Yeah, no, you're right. Go all the way to the very end of that so you can see where the URL is. And see how it's got paste your URL /
Okay. It
API
has some slashes.
drive. Yeah, I think we just need to make sure that, exactly. We're only replacing the URL for that part of the address. We got to leave that rest of the address, the API, alone.
Where did we pass the information about this drive gear temperature service? Like, this has to be somewhere.
Well, we haven't gotten to that part yet. I think it's down further.
But they want us to run it in 0.7 though, right? Don't they?
True, but it might kick back an error still. I think that would be okay.
You think so? Okay, let me check if we have... Okay, because it is what it did. It just... I mean, it worked,
I think,
but it returned status 0 because, like, it didn't catch the name.
But I think that might be okay, because now we still need to add the business logic for, like, all the temperature stuff. But I'm just thinking that the URL we're going to send it to in the curl command needs to still have /API whatever said there.
So I think you are also correct, but by saying the fact that it can drop 400, because it's probably some different way to pass this name. But if you look at our URL, we already have API, and we have just different name, right? We have this HTTP trigger too. Which
absolutely, I mean, it's just going to a different endpoint. So and the endpoint
Yeah. Do we want to add anything? What if I add it here? I wonder, will it catch it? Test, or is it just maybe it's something like that? Oh yeah, now it works. Okay, so it actually, because we are using this curl command, my guess is that it kind of only wants the specific URL, and it does not let you to provide arguments in the URL, because this was kind of also the point of this exercise, to show that you do not want to pass code or like your key in this URL. You want to pass it in a header, right?
Header.
So yeah, they made it in a header. So therefore, maybe it had some problems with our name being given in a URL.
Right.
And therefore, it probably prefers it to be in a body, like in a name value kind of thing. But hey, I'm glad that worked. Okay, so we have that. That's good. We can go further. It wouldn't let me sleep.
So yeah, now we're ready to add some logic, actually, right? I think.
Oh yeah, there's some caution. Caution, whatever. Okay, I'm joking. What
Safety
is it?
third.
If you are on Windows, run curl command on the prompt. PowerShell curl command. Okay, it's not bothering us now, so let's just pass that. Add business logic to the function. Okay, so we are replacing it now with the specific stuff. Our function is expecting an array of temperature readings. So we want this to be a request body. So let's copy that and let's actually delete our curl command that we have been so thoroughly working on. Okay.
While you're doing that, I'm gonna get some more coffee. I'll be right back.
Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah, I also ran out of water, but I will not kind of stop. I will just go through. Let's see what we have. Okay, so we got that. Now we're just alone. We replace the default code in our function with the following code that implements our business logic. So this is where they actually have this temperature thing coded, because I was wondering when this will come up, and this is the place. So we have this beautiful if tree, which is the best, you know. If you don't know how to do something, probably a simple if else will solve it somehow. So we got that. Is it any way different? I think it's more or less the same thing. It just does this small change in the code. So we want to replace in the index.js, right? Right, of course. So let's do that. Boom. So we have already replaced the index.js and the body. And now the logic we added is straightforward. Well, thanks for saying that. Let's just have okay caution. Oh, you came back, right? Yeah. Notice the log statements when you expand logs. Oh, we didn't run it yet, so we didn't see it yet. But from what I see in the code, it will show us some reading statuses, right? We want to test our business logic, so let's do that. I was thinking if we are going to change the second file, but it looks like not. Probably we should save. Let's see how the second file is doing. Is it doing okay? It's probably we're not changing it. And let's run it, maybe without the parameter though, as a post, because we are sending something in the body. So let's hit run. Boom. And fingers crossed again. I wonder if everything is visible on the screen or if I'm not cropping something out, but it looks okay. Okay.
Yeah, it looks okay.
Oh, we got the response. Nice.
Hey, look at that. Okay, caution, danger.
This is something like more sophisticated than our hello JSON or hello Mikołaj, so I like that. Yeah, so it actually mapped these temperatures based on our code, on our if tree. That 23 degrees is okay, 45 is caution, 55 is danger. I believe it's in Celsius then, right? If it's so low. I would guess.
I would guess so, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, select run and review the output. That's what we have done. So we are a bit forward. You can see in the output pane that our status field has been correctly added to each of the readings. It has. It's right here. Nice. Is it somewhere reflected in this function.js? This status one? No, it's not. It's in the code, right? Okay. Yeah. So if we go here, yeah, here's like, whoops, not here. Here is reading status danger. Okay, this is the property that I was looking for. Okay. So there is the summary now. Wow. Nice. You've learned how to use Azure Functions to host business logic services in the cloud. Okay. Clean up. The sandbox automatically cleans up your resources when you are finished with this module. Nice. Okay, of course. It's better to save some money rather than just spend them and leave everything as it is.
Yep.
Okay.
So now we're ready for quiz.
That's what I was waiting for. 1. By the way, last time, how did we go? I think we were like 50% correct or 75?
Yeah, feels right.
Let's go with 75.
Wasn't happy.
Yeah, until it's not 100%.
I told you I'm a terrible testing.
Yeah, we had discussed that. Yeah, I mean, until it's 100% right, it's not satisfying. So yeah, let's go. Which of the following best defines serverless logic? Code you write that doesn't run on the servers. That's what basically serverless would imply. Code you write that runs on the servers you manage. That's definitely not true. Code you write that runs on servers a cloud provider manages. Now, that's probably a sanity check. Like, the name would imply that it doesn't run on a server, but it probably does. So I would go with the fact that serverless is just a catchy name for the fact that it does run on a server, but it's provided by a cloud provider. What do you think? All right.
I think that's what I would go with.
Yeah.
We know it runs on servers. Code always runs on servers somewhere. Yes. It's not completely serverless.
If it doesn't, I will have to look deeper into this topic because it's pretty interesting if it's the first one.
And although you can run the functions locally and on your own machine or on servers that you manage, that is true. But I think the third one is the most correct.
Yeah. Okay. Number 2. So good so far, I hope. The container that groups functions into a logical unit for easier management, deployment, and sharing of resources is called resource group, function app, or function collection. Wow. What a deliberated name. Like function collection, I have never heard. Of course, resource group I have. Right. Of course, there was one thing being called out, which was function app. I think I even said that it kind of reminds me a resource group for functions. So I said like
there you go. That is a great way to think about it. Yeah.
I said that it's a resource group like a resource group for functions. So I can understand why they picked this answer to be a resource group. But hey, there was a function app. Okay, let's stick to this answer. Okay. And number 3, we secured our functions against unknown HTTP callers by requiring a function-specific API key. Okay, so basically now it's just a memory test. Which of the following fields is the name of header? So I remember it says, I remember the answer. Do you remember the answer, just not to spoil it?
I think I know the answer. I mean, there was only one thing that we went in and looked for to grab from our functions.
Yeah, I'm writing a hint, yeah. Yeah, of course it was key. Okay, yeah, that's like, yeah.
I don't even know if those other two are correct, like if they're a real thing or not.
I have no idea. I think they are not. They just kind of invented it in order to be similar.
It's just made up.
I mean, made up. Or maybe they are. I'm sorry if somebody is like now screaming into the screen like, "What are you talking about? They are a real thing." Yeah, I haven't seen them.
Could be.
Here I have seen only the key, but these kind of remind me like somebody was singing like, requested with, like, it kind of makes sense. CRF, some token, it kind of makes sense. Like, I don't know. But here we have used key.
This is how they get you on these tests.
Yeah. But those sneaky.
Especially people. When my mind like reads a word, I'm like, oh, it has the same word, Which in this case, that last couple words of the sentence in the question contains this key. My mind immediately jumps to the function key, but that doesn't mean it's always right. It's just how my brain associates, I guess. But yeah, let's check
our final answer. Yeah, it is.
Okay. I think that's our final answer.
Boom. First try, baby. What can I say?
Yes.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Unlock achievement. Boom. Get that bash. 200 XP. Boom. Do I have six level, by the way? I remember I was on the edge. Yeah. Oh, you cannot see it actually. I will just. Oh, you can see myself there. Whoops. I wanted to show the fact that I have 6 level, but I cannot do it. Oh no. Oh, now I can see it. Here, boom.
Where you at? You're at level 6?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Man, come on, level up. Okay.
Catching up with me.
What level are you, by the way?
I'm at 9.
Okay, you were at 9, so I guess next time, because I'm going to do these on my own to catch you, we are going to do... Oh, I'm joking, okay. Next time we are going to go execute an Azure function with triggers. Wow, so we are still in the topic of Azure functions. I like that, actually.
There's a ton of ways to execute them. So yeah, we'll now looks like go through blob storage.
I'm happy with that. I mean, it kind of felt like we just scattered through them. We just have seen that there's HTTP triggers, some time triggers and stuff like that. But I'm glad that we are actually going to try them out maybe and go deeper into this topic. Especially that I think it's a very interesting one. I'm kind of sad that I didn't know how to use the Azure functions or didn't dig deeper into this topic before pandemic, when I was, for example, I don't know, attending hackathons, where I think that such function gives you such upper hand. Like, you don't have to worry about so many things, and on hackathons, like, you have 24 hours to deliver a solution, where Azure Function is about that, like giving you the cutting edge or like the upper hand in doing it in a fast, efficient way, and just not worrying about the infrastructure, about the dependencies and stuff like that. Just run your code, man, and be done with it. And I think in hackathons, it might be also a great way to win them. So
especially, I mean, not just hackathons, but like any kind of proof of concept or MVP or just weekend project where you don't really want to like commit to a bunch of resources or spend a bunch of time creating a huge development.
I like how we have kind of different perspectives, because I'm still in this kind of student university kind of life where I look at those, you know, hackathons, competitions, stuff like that. But you also have this professional expertise and those R&D projects, as you mentioned, and like that. I like the fact that these are two different like domains, but they totally make sense.
Different but same, you know, like a hackathon I think is research and development, experimenting, you know, like you've been given a problem or a challenge, and now you try to build a solution, and I think a proof of concept is, you know, maybe feels a little more official, but it's the same type of idea. I mean, if I'm going to go sit down and like I've got another idea now for the stuff that we're going to be doing on Learn TV. I'm working on a new segment, and already, you know, I'm going to need to create an app, and I'm trying to think through what's the quickest way for me to get the ideas in my head to a working solution. And serverless in general, I think, is a perfect like route to go for that. I'm not sure I, you know, need to or even could sit down and write the business logic in code in JavaScript or Python or anything. So I'm probably going to start with a logic app, but eventually, you know, I'll like kind of expand on it, and it may turn into a function.
Yeah, I would definitely like to try it out, maybe on my own, to write something, for example, in Python, since I'm not such a JavaScript kind of guy, and I have seen that there were different options.
And I will say, so another thing, this is definitely jumping ahead. I don't even know if we'll find something in Learn about it, but functions do have only certain programming languages. Like a pure just Azure function, there's only so many programming languages that's really developed to run. Python, I believe, is one of them. But now there's what's called custom handlers that allows you to run any code. You can run any code in a function. Which is awesome, and that's kind of a new thing.
From what I see, I think we are going to actually go through those functions a bit. So I like that. Like, there are a lot of modules about those functions. So excellent. Yeah, there are durable functions and everything. So yeah, it's definitely not the end with it. We just kind of seen the tip of the iceberg, so to say. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a if you want to do a quick search in docs, you can find a link to the docs, on custom handlers.
Sure.
That might be good to add to our
Let's see if it ever find like that. I just did like a quick doc search.
Yeah, so that second link there, yep.
Oh.
Azure Function Custom Handlers.
Custom handlers.
Yeah, and so actually you can see there in the authors up at the top, that first person linked there, right where it says 13 minutes to read, and then it's got 3 little icons. That first one's Anthony Chu.
Yeah.
Anthony was on the All Around Azure episode with me not too long ago, and talking about this very thing. We went over functions, we went through durable functions, talking about state, and then last we talked about custom handlers, because this really opens up functions to a lot more developers that don't use the languages that it was originally designed for. So, yeah, pretty cool.
Wow. Okay. I wonder if we are going to cover it in our Learn path. I would definitely like to check it out for my.
It's so new. Wow. I feel like it might not be in there just yet, but I'm guarantee it's coming. So yeah, that'd be.
We will see. Fun. Maybe by the time we reach some modules, it will be updated.
Yeah. Well, and I think for me, I'm fine just doing JavaScript or even Python and some of the stuff that it is built for. But for those, like you've got highlighted there, for those who like to write things in Go or Rust or some other language that's not it's not .NET, it's not JavaScript. This is still an option for you. Yeah.
Well, it has been fun. I think we are just about the time to finish. Like we made it this time, so that's good. Thanks for everybody that was watching, actually. And if anybody is going to maybe see the recording, because everything is getting uploaded to YouTube, please remember that we are probably going to do this on a weekly basis, or at least try to the most. So you can kind of await us every Thursday. The hour is kind of, well, so to speak, subjective, because for me it's, and I live in Poland, it's like 5 to 9 p.m. But for you, Jason, it's what, 9, 11 a.m.?
Yep, we're doing this from around 9 to 11 a.m. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm in a GMT +1 zone. So for GMT +1, it's like 5 till 7. Till 7, yeah? Yeah, till 7, yeah. Okay. I was just double checking it in my mind. Yeah. Okay, well, thank you again. Yep. And see you next time.
Thanks. We'll see you next time.